Hey there, thanks for joining me today. So I've got a full day today to work on the Jeep. And what I'm going to do is I've really been struggling with this decision-making process. I mean, after doing kind of my preliminary inventory of what's junk and what's salvageable on the CJ-7, it's really a tough call. So today's plan is I'm going to go out there in the garage and see if I can get the roll cage out and that Tuffy console, which will leave just the bare tub. And then I'm going to start to kind of get down into some of those joints and see what's involved in maybe, what I'm starting to think is maybe I could replace just the front floor pan and the back bed pan, because I've seen a couple of those, I've seen those parts that I can get those parts. And I'm thinking that those might be, a small enough chunk of the overall bed or tub that it would A, give me some straight stuff to work with, and B, not involve throwing the whole tub out. So that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm going to see if I can just get to that point and maybe start to do some measurements and really assess the body panels and stuff and see if we can figure out how to make our decision, because the decision is either it's time to start ordering some parts or it's time to just throw my hands up and call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and have this stuff towed away. So we'll see what happens. Let's go out there in the garage and see what happens. Well, here we are. Everything is out of the tub. So I had one bolt that I had to drill out to get the roll cage unhooked. I've gone here, this may not be too easy to see, but I've taken a chisel along there, and it looks to me like this bottom piece of this bed is only welded in a few places, and the rest of it's just kind of silicone in place. Same over here. So maybe that'll come off. There's a little bit of rust under where the plates were for the roll cage, and up there in the corner we got the red power wire for the amplifier. But this is the tub as it stands right now. So now that I've got it all cleaned out, I'm going to go get my square, and I'm just going to start checking all the square on this thing, because maybe I could get by with just replacing this. So here's what I think if I got really lucky. This piece, this corner. The rest of it might be salvageable. So if that's the case, then that's pretty good news, because I can deal with that, I think, and keep going. But we'll see when I put a square to it. I'll see if I can start to figure out how much stuff is really squared. One thing I did notice when I pulled the bolts out of the roll cage here, the roll cage kind of did what I thought everything's trying to do, which is kind of moved as soon as the bolts were loose, like it was under a bunch of stress. And I just keep wondering if maybe as I get these bent pieces out of here, the bed will, or the whole tub will kind of try to take its natural square shape again, because I got to believe there's a lot of torque or stress or whatever on this thing. So we'll see what happens when I start putting a square to it all. All right, well, I've been working on the back of the tub here, and I'm going to show you something that just well, it gives the word Bondo Queen a whole new name. So this is one chunk of Bondo. This is another. I mean, this stuff was a ½ an inch thick. And so what I've been doing is pulling it off of here. You can see what happened to the back of this tub. Whatever kind of hit this guy took was gargantuan, and he didn't even sand it before he slapped the Bondo on right there. It wasn't even sanded. Some of this was okay, but no real attempt to straighten anything. So there we have a part that's got to go, and I'm just taking the Bondo off just to see what I got there. But obviously it looks to me like there is a joint here, and there probably was one there over here. So, you know, these sections, I think I can get a replacement for this. That, you know, maybe just make one, because it's, I don't know, I'll see if I can find one. But good Lord, this was all Bondo, and that's black shiny paint underneath there. I don't know, hopefully you can, let's get the light up here. So black shiny paint, Bondoed. Didn't even sand it down before they slathered that stuff on, and they must have used a full 5-gallon bucket of Bondo to do this mess. So this is what my floor looks like, and this isn't all of it, but again, you can just see how big these pieces are that came off of there, where they just, you know, fabricated the entire corner and everything, so with Bondo. So I've been doing like an archaeologist. I've been digging like I'm digging up a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Instead, I think I'm digging up a Jeeposaurus wreck here. So anyway, there's so far where we're at on the back of the tub. All right, well, this is the corner panel. Obviously also Bondoed all over the place. And so I've basically just cut down the corner. So I guess maybe we can see the bend a little bit on the side of the tub here that we're gonna try to salvage. And we are gonna straighten that up and try to salvage that. This frame support box back here is toast, obviously, as is this back piece across here. So, so now we really have kind of a idea of the structural damage here. When I look in here, I see, you know, some, obviously a little bit of carnage there as well. So, okay, well, I've got the back below the tailgate section cut loose, and I wound up having to take a metal blade and a jigsaw and kind of cut the crumpled up part of the back of the bed off so I could get down to work on this thing. But I'll show you what we got here. So this is now gonna have to be cut off and or just abandoned. So, but at least they drilled some holes so the Bondo would have some way to stick in there. So good job, dudes. Anyway, got this off. I got this all off here. I just need to straighten that up a little bit if we're gonna put that corner piece back in. I'm not sure what to do about all this. Looks to me like that's an integral part of the tub that supports it on the back of the frame there. So I might just wait and get I sent an email off to the guys at Willie's Overland to get me a quote on a tub. And I think at this point for the weekend, I'm gonna call it and go do something else for a little while so that I can get my mind off this stupid thing, because now I gotta just get down in there with some kind of blade and cut the rest of this off. I can't get my jigsaw down in there. The jigsaw went through this stuff pretty easy, but I can't get it down in there. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do to get that out of there. I can't get my grinder down in there with my cutoff blade on it either, so it's just a little too tight. So I'll have to figure out what we're gonna do about that, if anything. So there we have it. I'm gonna go do something else. All right, well, just so you don't misbelieve that I have a CJ-7 sitting out here, I do. Rubber's off the one that CJ-7, I swapped everything over. You can see I've got it a little bit taken apart, but for the most part, hood's in good shape. All right, well, I did a little sanding yesterday. This is right outside of the passenger side door area, And you can see this line right here where it looks like there's kind of a crack. Inside of there's a little piece of steel that's kind of strengthens that inside of the tub. And then there's a crack here. If we look really close, I can see a crack that formed there. There's a big bulge out right here, which was just a bolt hole, I think. So let me show you what this looks like. Sorry, I got all the carpet dropped inside of there. But if I put my straight edge here. Okay, so if I put my straight edge here, I'm about halfway up the Jeep, and right here doesn't look too terribly bad. However, if I come up like right at the base of the Jeep emblem, so you can see what we're dealing with there as far as that goes. So there's a pretty big offset there where obviously it pushed this side here in, and so this is concave. So we got that. And then I kind of ran a sander along here the rest of the side looking for high spots other than bolt holes. And I found this. So if I take my square, I put it here, you can see the gap. If I come way up top here, it's not horribly unstraight there, but right here is bulged out. So we got, it's a bulge out here and a bulge in there, and I think that's pretty indicative of what kind of stress this thing has been under since it got whacked in the back. And then here's my back end that I just sanded down. It we know is not straight. You can see how bad that piece is. So there's the issues with this side. So I'm not sure if I can kind of pull that out. I don't have any body working mallets or anything like that. I might have to get a couple of, just a cheap set to get me, see if I can tap some of that out and fix it up a little better. But there we have some of the square issues. Okay, so one other spot where I've put the straight edge, you can see I'm above the Jeep emblem now, and I'm pretty much straight on that side. And if we come back to here, a gap is starting to form back here at where the fender section comes out. So that's, you know, off by a quarter of an inch there. And unfortunately, that is right inside of where this box over the wheel well is hooked in. So, not really sure if this is going to be easy to fix. All right, well, I think we got the full extent of the damage assessed. When I look down the side of the tub over here on the passenger side, it's wavy. So we're really done for the weekend. Tomorrow's Monday, and we'll see how soon we get a response back from the boys at Willie's Overland with some quotes for a tub, and that'll pretty much make my mind up, I think, whether or not we proceed to try to salvage this one or we just figure out how to get this much steel hauled away to the dumpster recycler people. So I'll let you know what I find tomorrow when I find out, or whenever next week is, when I find out from the guys in Ohio, I think they are, what we're looking at to replace the tub on this thing. And yeah, I looked around on eBay a little bit. I found a couple of Jeeps out there that are probably better candidates for a restoration than this one, or a mix of parts, but I'm just not going to go buy a third Jeep. At this point, that would be just ridiculous. So, not going to do that. Not going to do that. So if in 6 months we're doing the YouTube channel series on the third Jeep restoration, then you'll know I need to be hauled off and put in a straitjacket somewhere. But I'm not going down that road. So I'll let you know what I am going to do with this thing.